We'll start pretty soon. You're at a wedding right now? That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. How to confirm narrative? Yeah, we'll do any questions you guys got. Just Q&A? I mean, it's gonna talk about a lot of things. Because when you guys ask questions, I just, yeah, dude, I just like, go in depth as much as possible. It'll be like a damn, what'd you call it? A lecture almost, honestly. How long will the session be? My sound is really soft. Is the volume bad? Sound good? 7-hour stream? Yeah, okay. Yo, how much can we hold in here, dude? What's the max? Is there a max? Some people are saying very low, guys. I don't know what to do about that. Should I restart? Go live on YouTube? No, my loop. I have to go live through OBS, and my OBS is absolutely cooked. It's so cooked. All right, so most people are saying it's fine. So maybe you guys should restart or something. Hello from North Korea. Okay, dude. That's actually insane. All right, so this probably as many people as we're gonna get. Probably, yeah. So, yeah. Dude, you saved my life. Are you actually serious? 400 in max? Okay. We probably will reach that, I think. Maybe. You can't hear. See, I don't know. What's up with that? Can we like slow down the chat, TWX, a little bit? Slightly? Yeah, like maybe like a 10-second or something. Because I'm not, I'm not gonna be able to get to questions. I can't even read right now. I read as fast as about, you know, a fifth grader, so. Why can't I share my own screen, bro? What the fuck? Is that, what the hell's up with this? I can't even share my own screen. Yo, TWX, we need you. I don't know what's going on. Or somebody. Like, look, I'm gonna put in chat. If you can even see it. It doesn't let me do it, look. It's like grayed out. Disappears. I will record. Yeah, bro, I don't have permission to go live on my own server. That's crazy. And I don't even know how to work Discord, so I need one of my mods to cook real quick. Or something. Do I have to like restart, you think? I'll restart. Alright guys, be right back. Ah, there we go. Nice. Alright, we're good. This stage is full. Oh, no way. How do I boost that? Is it full or not? Is this more than 150 in here? I boosted. Is it about to like pull up my credit card and shit? Maybe switch to YouTube Live. Hey, the thing about my YouTube Live, or thing about that is it's like, it's cooked. Actually, I don't know if it is anymore, honestly. But when I record, dude, the audio playback is so bad. Like, I don't know why. I literally have no idea why. I could like whip out my microphone. Maybe that works, but I mean, we're already here. Bro, we're actually capped out right now. Damn. Should I boost it real quick, guys? Should I boost it? Yeah, I'm gonna boost it real quick, bro. Hold on. Let me not stop sharing my screen. How do I boost this shit? Purchasing it right now. I think at least. All right, level 3. Are we good? Let's see now. Oh yeah, we're good. Holy shit. We're good. Damn. You guys are in. The gates are open. All right, let's get it. All right, dude. I mean, shit. Let's get it. I'm gonna start recording, guys. I'll probably upload this on YouTube, by the way. And then probably like unlisted or something. But yeah, guys, go ahead and ask away. Did we put a limit on the, or at least a cooldown on the text? Please make a new backtesting session in the near future. Yeah, we will. Maybe we can do that next stream or something. This stream is gonna be like a Q&A. Yeah, so just like put questions in the chat. Did you stop using Plat? Yeah, it's just kind of like no point. I was only messing around with it at first, but yeah, I don't really use it anymore. I'm just using Euro, GBP, Silver when it's actually correlated, but yeah. I think a minute is good. Will you include advanced pre discount in your asset? Yeah, probably. Because you kind of need it. Can you help with bias framework? Yeah, so you at least have a framework, at least coming into the day, like where you're like, okay, I can come to the day and I can be bullish or whatever. And sometimes you can do that for the whole week, but it's only when you have like higher time frame. What is this? Okay, I don't know what those pings are, but that's only when you have a higher time frame, like framework. So what is a framework? We all know it. It's internal, external, and then you have, external. We'll go something like this, right? External, and then internal, and then some type of manipulation ranges, right? Where you manipulate one side of the range, target the opposing side. So you need something like this because you need to draw on liquidity in an area for price to actually trade away from on the higher time frame. This is where you're gonna have like a clear one-sided bias. This is not an everyday thing, right? It's not everyday thing. But what you can do is you can fractalize this. And you can use this. You use this every single day, though, right? On the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame, and these key levels. Let's say on the 1 hour and 4 hour, right? And in my course, I outline that's the alignment to form the high and low of day. This is what will form the high and low of day. For example, let's go with the internal to external. If you look at my last YouTube video, we talk about 4 hour gaps forming the low of day. So let's say this day opens low first. Here's the daily open, let's say. The day opens low first into a 4 hour gap, then what would this be like internal to external? Where the daily profile, the candle profile, is supporting the idea because in order for a bullish day to form, ideally it opens low first, right? So that would be the profile supporting this type of move. And that's what you need. Ideally, you need a profile to support whatever kind of framework you're using, right? And that kind of filters out things for you. So that's what you need to have in order to have a clear higher time frame draw, right? So if you go here, for example, on HL, what do we have? Well, we previously just came off this, low here on the monthly time frame. So, for a long time, this is where you can have a one-sided bias, right? So your first one-sided bias can just be the previous month's close, for example, into this high. Now, when we start to fail to manipulate opposing highs, this is where we start to think that we can go here, right? When you start to fail to manipulate this high, where you go? Up here, right? And that just has to do with like relevant swings and whatnot, which we can go over in a YouTube video or whenever at some point, right? But when we engage at this high, your first draw would be this gap, right? When you fail to disrespect it, you just go deeper in the range and so on and so forth. If you fail to find support here, if you make a really deep move into this range, likely the whole range is going to fail. And this is where we look for SMT and our two-stage sequence, right? So here you have SMT, right? And what is this? External to internal, where you have an SMT supporting your universal model. But that's pretty much how I get bias. It's just candle closures, SMT, and a profile to support that. All models are is like a key level to trade it from and a draw liquidity. That's all it gives you. Hey, you start with that's pretty much what I just went over pretty much, right? Now, as far we can like fractalize this though. We're definitely getting into it. Can look first stage one asset in seconds. Yes, you can. Yep. What do you think about 4-hour profiles and 15-minute entries? Yeah, that's fine. So people do this, right? They go to the daily time frame. A lot of people use this time frame alignment to trade like the Fractal model. They'll use a daily closure, and they'll do like GXT where they confirm the high of this candle, for example, like of C3 or C4 with a swing formation. So you see the swing formation? So that will confirm the high of day for them. And then we'll just confirm the high of this candle, this wick, with a 15-minute CST. Right, that could be a thing, right? So many things you can do. I have to use my alignment. What do you think about 4-hour profiling, 15-minute entries? I think it's cool. If I was trading Forex, that's something I would probably do. More than likely. Can you guys ask good questions, please? No new first week GST questions. That's wild. Should I share YouTube link? What you mean? An SMT is a failure swing. How can you know when the displacement away is invalid and just okay, so it's the way I don't really like those type of SMT sequences, honestly, but this is why advanced why am I getting spammed right now? Just because something's wrong? I don't think so. I think we're good. So this is typically guys, advanced pre-discount is so easy, like it's literally so easy. So let's just go over that real quick, right? This is in a triad where they all make the same ranges, like pretty much, right? So you're gonna mark out EQ of each range, right? And this is where you see the premium discount thing come in, where it's advanced. It's not advanced at all, really. So this is simply where one asset takes out the range low, which creates an SMT. Now all you want to do is study where the failure swing is being printed on the other assets, right? So ideally you want the failure swing to be printed in premium or like EQ of the range, not in deep discount, because what is that? If it forms like way down here, it's forming that like basically that equal high SMT, equal low SMT, I mean, which is not ideal. Like it's not ideal that you see this. Now, in order for me to trust this, I really just let it kind of play out. I usually don't catch these type of reversals. But anyways, ideally you want it to form like this, right? Now, what if it does form like this? And then you see this asset like in you know, premium or something. This is where we want to see an SMT break, actually reverse price. So this is where this asset will come lower or whatever, and then it will break the SMT down here. Because at one point this was an SMT, it'll break it, and then this manipulation will cause price to reverse, while this third asset, or the strongest asset in the trade, holds that SMT, and then we reverse like this. This is a case like this, but if you ever have like the middle asset, let's say, in EQ or something, it doesn't need to break the SMT really, right? This is where we actually trust SMT to hold typically, or this is where you're really going to see asset synchronization happen, whether this asset catches up, like these assets in premium catch up to one in discount, or vice versa, but typically this one will just hold, and that's even better when you have in a gap in this range, which we've all seen this little sequence before, right? Where you have SMT at the range low, and then in, what do you call it? You know, a gap, right? The asset that's creating a fair swing is in a gap, right? Very, very high probable sequence here. That's all it is, dude. It's actually not that hard. In order just to trade the lagging assets, though, the one that actually, you know, creates this lower low, this is where you want to see strength switching happen and asset synchronization and whatnot. But how do I actually trust the SMT like that? Where maybe you're referring to something like this. I'm not really sure. Maybe you're referring to like a, you know, where you have failure swings like this, and you get a crack correlation with that, or maybe you are referring to something like this. It's basically almost like equal lows. Either way, there's always going to be an opposing high to the main draw on liquidity. So, for example, like this is going to be your main draw on liquidity. You're always going to have in any model like opposing highs. So where like if this was going to break, for example, if we want to go to these lows, but we go higher first, theoretically we should manipulate these highs to go to the lows, right? So when it fails to manipulate this high, for example, to the left, or this high, for example, when it fails to manipulate it, then you can typically trust it, right? And this expansion leg here that you're saying will create like a gap, and that gap becomes what you can typically trust to trade away from, right? And that's the universal sequence that I use, right? So that's typically how I trust it. I just won't catch the very reversal, which is absolutely fine. You don't really need to. You always wait for a swing C2 close it. No. As long as it supports expansion, I can trade it. Right? The wick size is small. Just like a 4-hour candle. Same thing. Typically just enter on the first CSD. But you need a key level and an SMT. For the universal continuation setup, if I'm watching for a CSD on the 3-minute and I get the double CSD plus fair value confirming expansion in a clear reversal signature before 10 a.m. candle closes, would you take the entry? Depends on where your stop loss is going to be placed. As long as it's not super close to like the height or like the very high of the 6 a.m. candle, for example, like in a bullish candle, like you don't really want it to be like. It depends, especially how the candle closes, by the way. Like, if it's going to close an expansion candle, you don't want your stop loss to be like, for example, like way up here, for example, because the next candle can just like open low and take you out, you know? You don't have to be like well positioned. So let's say this is like how it looks. And it closes right here, right? If your entry is like right here, that could be fine, to be honest. Because if you think about it, right, if you mark out EQ this range, we want this to hold. We kind of want, you know, the upper half of this range to hold. So your stop loss being right here is ideal, right? Because in a bullish, you know, expansion, we expect, you know, opposing candles to support price higher. So it can be like an invalidation level that you're kind of anticipating to hold, which is like a positional entry type of thing. Now, if it's a reversal candle though, or like 6 a.m. is a reversal candle, like a large wick, you definitely don't want to be entering way up here because you don't really know where this candle is going to close. Like it could look like this at one point, but you know you can't expand past the opening price. So, and it could close like that. You just don't know. So ideally, you really want to make sure this is actually forming like the low of the day, for example. Because if this is like forming the low of the day, then you know that this should be protected, right? It's just a matter of the closure, and then we expect continuation. So it's really ideal that with the large wick, The wick is actually formed from something relevant. Therefore, like it shouldn't be returned back to you, right? And you want your stop loss as close to this wick as possible. So like entering a very reversal, for example, like the 6 a.m. Candle. Like I'll show you an example that I didn't really take, but it's a good example, like a good shot at this logic. So like, I think it's this one, right? I think it's one of these. It's that loss that I took this day where I like got wicked out, but it would be like this example. Like when I come to the market here, it's like you have an SMT here with this gap, so you have the key level or whatnot. Let's go to the thing. You said this is a reversal candle here. Now when I show you before 9:30, which is basically this, it's like we hit this gap, but we didn't actually reverse. So whenever you hit a key level and you don't actually reverse, what that is actually doing is forming a new key level to reverse from. It's like an engineered low, basically, right? Now this is like a relevant low. Look at the space between any other low, right? There's no failure swing. So when it takes this out, there's really no reason to return. That's what a relevant swing is. It's basically a relevant swing that's gets manipulated. That's a protected swing. So you already know that there's no reason to go lower, right? If we're gonna be bullish, what is there to go into lower? There's nothing, right? So this is what we would need to manipulate at 9:30 to create the 6 a.m. wick and to create the low of day. So when it does this, you already know that this should be the level to be manipulated, right? So when it actually does it, you can already assume that this is the only area for price to actually create the low of day and the low of the 6 a.m. candle. And you're kind of, what do you call it? You're also using the 9:30 driver as well, right? So you're pairing a manipulation with the driver. There's also SMT here with YM. So like these are things where like you can bend rules if you really want to. Like you can be like, okay, well, this is my shot at the low of day, and I'm just assuming that this is gonna form and close as a 6 a.m. reversal candle, and 10 a.m. will continue. Like these are things you can do for sure. I've done it before, but it's a little bit risky, right? These are things you can do. But you want your stop loss, like I said, as low as possible. I don't want to be entering way up here. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that price it can't really expand past the opening price, right? So it has a really hard time closing. Because at one point, guys, this looked like a expansion candle. At one point. Okay, this can look really bad, but this can look horrible, but it looked like, I'm just trying to draw like an expansion candle, right? It looked like this at one point, but you don't know where it's going to close because of that large wick, you know? So you want your stop loss, if you just mark out the whole candle's range, really, you want it basically in the wick, like below the, actually, yeah, you want it below the opening price. If you mark it from here to here. And ideally in the lower half, that ideally is where your stop loss is at. But yeah. How do you know if S&P is holding? With candle closures, right? Two-stage SMTs. Basically, I just answered that question pretty much. When it's at the low of the day, right, or the high of the day, we're anticipating, that higher low of the day to form. But another thing is like on really volatile days, especially on NFP, CPI, where like 8:30, it's gonna likely create a large wick. It's not gonna care about the large wick because there's so much volatility that it doesn't really give a shit, honestly. So that's when you can typically fade it. But also if 9:30 forms reversal, that's something you could do as well because 9:30 can be volatile. But again, it has to actually like be somewhat relevant, like basically. In gold, there has been a lot of conflicting SMTs. You get bearish SMT and bullish SMT. How do you filter out which one to hold? Well, whatever ones are actually on side with narratives. So there's always going to be opposing SMTs, guys. Like every single time price expands, there's going to be an SMT. So let me show you an example. Let's mark out something real quick. So first off, you need framework to even filter out SMT to begin with. So for example, price is gonna retrace into a key level, whatnot, and this is where we look for our first SMT to reverse price, right? And as soon as price expands like this, I'm gonna try to duplicate this real quick. Whoops. Let's kind of redo this real quick. I need to redo this whole thing, man. Hold on. It's gonna look something like this. All right. Here's your first SMT. Right. So here's your first SMT, right? Now, obviously, this is the stronger asset. So the stronger asset is going to reach the high before this asset, and you're going to have a conflicting SMT, right? But which one is going to be the true SMT? Obviously, the one at the lows, right? Because we're coming out of the higher time frame fair value gap, like because now we're aligned. We're basically confirming the higher time frame key level. So every time the stronger asset reaches highs, like dude, there's gonna be some type of opposing SMT. For example, they're gonna have one here because this asset's reaching the highs first. This doesn't mean that it's gonna hold, right? For example, like we're both gonna expand, but this one's gonna reach the high first. You know what I'm saying? So we're just gonna look for SMTs that are actually aligned with our narrative, right? Whoops. So we have a fair value gap SMT or something, right? So that's the filter basically, right? Also, we can filter SMTs that are maybe against the profile, the current profile for the day or the week, right? We can use base of price to filter out SMTs. That's why I use like two-stage SMT. There's a lot of filters. If you had a guess. IGXE sexually. I think most people just struggle with like narrative, I guess you could say. That's the main thing. Not really sure. I think a lot of people try to like trade multiple pairs as well because they might see me do it, which I think is a really bad thing. I think you should focus on just one model or one markets when you're first learning, because obviously as new traders you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Like you're gonna do a lot of wrong things. So when you try to trade like multiple markets, you're gonna do that times 3. It's gonna be really hard. But the main reason is always gonna be like psychology issues, mainly like patience, right? Or greed and just want to jump into a trade and shit like that. That's the main thing, obviously, with any type of strategy. Oh yeah, I think I went with that one. Yeah, I'm not really sure though. Everyone's different. But the main one is definitely bias. Like, you know, even like if I see like maybe like a one-sided bullish day, like someone is gonna see like, bearish day or something, right? Like, and sometimes, they're right, I'm wrong, but that's the main thing. It's narrative, right? Look at this question. Everyone struggles with narrative. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. But when you're trading like me, where you're trying to trade every day, you're trying to come up with a narrative every day, it's harder, dude. Like, you have to understand that that's not an easy thing to do. And I don't come into, that's the thing, guys. Like, I don't come into the day like one-sided every day. Like, I let the profile print. I don't do a lot of guessing, to be honest with you guys. I see what the profile is more leaning towards, and I go off that. I set in validations, and that's really it, dude. But I'm not coming into the day like every single day. I'm not doing this like just some random PM. Okay, I'm bullish, I'm bearish, just off the previous close. That's not really how I go. There has to be clear set framework for that. Like for example, like this is very clear in my opinion. Right, it's like where you leave equal lows, for example. This is super clear, right? What do you have? The new week is opening up. Ideally, we open high for a bearish week to get to this low. What do we have? A high here. Like we open high into it, right? We manipulate on Wednesday. Like this is super clear bias, but it's not an everyday thing. It's not going to be an everyday thing. I actually traded this day too as well. Again, like equal lows. We have a manipulation to trade away from to get to the lows. Okay, bet. I go to the previous day's close. What do we get? What do we got? We're opening up in a fair value gap. This is that day I traded in Asia session, right? There's a specific way you can trade a session. What is this also, by the way? A PSP and an SMT fill. So now it's just a universal sequence. We have a candle closure at the highs, okay, displacement away, fair value gap to use in continuation. What's our higher time frame model? Essentially this, right? Manipulation ranges, right? Manipulation range high. We're just in higher time frame distribution, really, on our way to these lows. And we're using a essentially lower time frame model to support higher time frame expansion. When I go to YM over here, SMT fill, and you have a bearish close. So what is this going to be when we sweep this high? Two-stage PSP, right? And you can anticipate if that's going to form at 1800, then that can be the high of day. That's why I traded this day. And yeah, what do we have here? Gap, right? What do we have here? Draw on liquidity. You know what I'm saying? So this is where it becomes like super easy and whatnot, but like it's not gonna be an everything thing, guys. Like I don't come into the day every single day like with a one-sided bias. It's like impossible to do, honestly. So if you think that's a thing, it's not. When am I releasing a new vid? The comment above is crazy. I don't know, guys. When should I? I don't want to release it like I know before like New Year's, but maybe before like Christmas or like I don't know. Maybe the second week of December or something like that. Like somewhere around there. I don't know. How different is trading indices and gold? I think it's pretty different-ish. Like I look for the same things, obviously, but I think the opportunities on indices is there's so much more opportunities on indices. And I think you should focus on indices way more than gold. Like gold is not something you just day trade every single day. If you guys see me, I don't trade gold every day. Gold and oil are like something you wait for like clean opportunities in. Like I'll show you. Honestly, dude, yesterday. Was yesterday Friday? Yeah, it was. Yesterday on oil and gold are really clean. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it really was. So look at this. So it kind of ignore all this like gap stuff, but it's pretty simple. We change this high. And I believe there's like some sequential SMT here, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe there wasn't, but it's a 12 p.m. reversal. Yeah, there is sequential SMT here, right? And I think it's some type of strength switch as well. Yeah, clearly is. Yeah. Clearly there's some type of SMT. I don't know if this is anything relevant. Hold on, let me find it. Yeah, clearly is, right? So this Monday high here, which is the current high of week, by the way. As you can see, there's some SMT there, right? So with a key level, and then you get your strength switch, right? So let's go back to HO. So here's your first stage SMT, which is, like I said, Monday's high, which is right, we'll go with right here, yeah. That's right here. Oops. Which is a daily fair value gap. So you get your two-stage SMT here, and a sequential SMT. And then, right, if we go on like 30 minutes or something to confirm that, the closure. So here, like, here's the thing about this. You see this 1 hour candle? If it's a small wick, you can technically trade this candle as this like a reversal candle, right? So you'll see that V-shaped signature. Now this becomes really quick and whatnot, but I believe there's some equal lows down here, like on these other assets or something. There's like decent lows, yeah, like equal lows and stuff like that. So like stuff like it's like super like one-sided is when I'll trade like oil and gold. Like it has to be super one-sided. Like my trade here to this day, like this is a super like quick type of trade, and it's really easy, right? Clearly we have a relevant high here, guys, to the left. We have an open draw here. So there's actually SMT here, by the way. I do believe, at least. Yeah, so there's SMT here. And what did silver do? Fail to manipulate it. All right, so I'm assuming that we can play some catch up here. Now, I don't think we're going to get here in the same day, but this SMT, y'all see how that's irrelevant now? It's irrelevant. So we get this SMT here. We have a gap, so we failed to manipulate this. So we also failed to manipulate this high too. So there's nothing to the left that this high came from. Like, what did this high even hit? Nothing relevant. So that means that's probably gonna make a new high, guys. Probably, right? So if you didn't fail to manipulate anything or nothing like that, like this gap should hold in theory, right? And I don't really remember what we had. I think it's just an SMT fill. Not an SMT fill, sorry. A PSP with some asset. Yeah, so right here, you'll see it's a bullish candle, bearish candle. Not so much sure about this asset. Okay, it is an SMT fill, right? We don't hit that gap, as you see. So you have the nice two-stage SMT there. And you have this V-shaped signature, right? And you have this SMT fill in lower time frame. So you have the gap, same thing I highlight in my YouTube video. So all this is a small move. Like, see how this is very one-sided, and I didn't even have to come to the day like bullish. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to guess shit. Like, I just see a small little universal model on a 30-minute time frame, and that's your trade for the day. Like, you know what I'm saying? The daily candle is already a bullish expansion candle. Now we can't really see it here, but if you go on, and by the way, there was no daily SMT here. I just forgot that the candles are different, right? Because of the bank holiday and whatnot. So there's actually no daily SMT here, but it doesn't have to be. But clear the day is a bullish expansion candle, right? And yeah, it's already aligned. You're just aligning 4 hour, right? Everything is a bullish expansion candle at this point, right? This supports expansion, daily supports expansion. So it's very likely we're going to create a new high here. So, I mean, that's it really, you know? This is my trade. It was something like this. It was a little bit higher fill. It was like up there or something. Yeah, just to hit a nice little trading day on your prop firm accounts, right? And yeah, I don't have to have the daily, like having a closure or nothing like that. I don't have to come to the day like super one-sided. It's just like using a small range. That can be your daily bias, right? It can be as simple as that, dude. Beginning of the day, manipulate the range low, and then at 8:30 or 9:30, manipulate the high. Can we try to trade again? That would be like seek and destroy almost, right? So you're saying if you did something like this, where we manipulate the low of the day, right? And then 9:30 manipulates the high, that would not be a great profile, right? That's like seek and destroy. Especially if the day like opens like right here or something, just like opens. Now you're trying to trade back to high resistance. It can be doable, it's just not ideal. It depends, right? If there's like a higher time frame key level, or if this is a higher time key level, or whatever, like it can make a lot more sense, but it's not ideal, to be honest. Like you want the day to be bearish. If you're bearish, you want it to like look like this. You want this to be a failure swing. Sorry, this is gonna look really ugly, but it's more so to be a failure swing. So if the day like opens low like this, but doesn't actually hit anything, opens low, doesn't actually hit anything, no S&P down there, and still be fine. 9:30 manipulation, yeah, that's cool. But it's not ideal if it actually like manipulates at the low day. It would be a great profile. Your top-down approach checklist. All right, let's do this. All right, let's do it. So if you have a higher time frame narrative, that's great. So we already went over that. Really, it's really simple, guys. It's like, it's literally this. All right, boom, higher time key level. That's either a fair value gap or a higher low. I don't really care about so much about order blocks and higher time frame, to be honest. I like to keep it simple. So let's say you have an internal, external, right? So whenever the first thing you look at, guys, is like how price basically came into the key level. Like, are we like leaving consolidation, or are we like retracing, or like we're leaving failure swings at the point of retracement? That'll actually higher the probability of this leg actually playing out, like clearing a higher. Or maybe if this high was not created from anything relevant. So like if there's a high up here that we didn't actually reach, so now we're just kind of creating, equal highs at this point, that higher the probability. These things all like higher the probability of the model playing out, because you guys all know like in sim, right? Or this would be like the original consolidation. I'm sure you also heard that price can reverse from a consolidation. And when it does, again, that's typically just a higher time for retracement. Okay. So these are all things that typically higher the probability of this actually playing out. So when you actually reach a higher time drill liquidity, let's say on the daily or something, you're going to ask yourself two things. First off, you ideally want to have a closure and a actual reversal signature. So meaning, that V-shaped signature out of the range. And if you actually trade the day or the day following hitting this key level, this is where you actually expect the day to either form a reversal candle, or maybe it doesn't form a reversal candle, then you would expect the next day to form a reversal candle. You're going to ask yourself, does that profile, that specific day, actually support a bullish, reversal candle out of this area, right? So does it open low first into the key level, right? Then you can actually trade the reversal day. Let's say you don't trade the reversal day, you let it pass. Okay, cool. You have a previous closure. Sorry, you have a preset closure, right? So you're going to confirm that with a close on the higher time frame, right? Cool. Let's say it looks something like this. We'll make this a little bit better. I will try at least. Jesus, dude, hold on. And make this that color. All right. For example, you can trade this reversal day, right? You absolutely can, because you can anticipate a reversal forming because you're in a higher time frame key level, right? So all you really need is a profile to support this bullish day. If it doesn't support it, then you don't trade it, just let it pass. But if a profile supports it, maybe you have SMT with the key level itself, or with this previous day, like you can absolutely trade this day. But let's say you don't, right? You wait for the close. So this is like the first steps. You hit a key level, you have a candle closure, right? We all know this. Now the next step is you mark out EQ this range. So now we're just trading the universal sequence, honestly. That's really all we're trading. So you go from the previous closure, EQ, as your refined invalidation, right? You're always going to have an invalidation to your key level, right? So this is refined invalidation for the continuation away from the key level. Like you want this day to open low, high close, right? So the whole reason why we mark out EQ of the range is to form a small wick. We want a small wick to form. And if we hit this level here, this EQ, we're forming a large wick, which doesn't really support expansion, right? We want price to expand away from a higher time frame key level. So that's the whole reason why I do this. But now you're going to do what I talk about in my YouTube video. You refine your invalidation level, right? Where we look within this range. So if this is the daily time frame, we go to the hourly and the 4-hour time frame to refine our key level. And I have this somewhere. I have this somewhere in here, dude. It's like in here. Right? It's right here. Right? So you have your candle closure. Boom. You mark an EQ of the previous candle's range, right? And you don't even have to be in a swing formation, bro. For example, you can just have like a drawn liquidity in the previous day's range, like because we'd expect expansion to the drawn liquidity. Again, you can be in candle 6. I don't care. Like it can still expand in an expansive market. But yeah, your invalidation to that expansion would be EQ the range, right? So this is the whole reason we're doing this, right? So, but this is a very large range, obviously. This is a super large range. So we're going to refine that key level with the just GXD alignment, right? So now let's go to the 1 hour and the 4-hour to refine our key level. So these key levels are nothing more than models, right? When you think about internal to external, what about order pairing ranges? That's it, right? We don't use ERL, IRL, that's counter trend. We could use order blocks too, but I don't really care about order blocks, I'm gonna be real. I typically just use these two, right? Personally. I use order blocks in continuation, intraday continuation, but anyways. So we want this day to do what? Open low into our key level, right? Which would form the protraction phase of the candle, which is just the wick, right? The open low is the wick of the daily candle. And that forms reversal of the candle. We expand, forming the body of the candle, right? So that's what this would look like, right? Where we open low into our key level. And then again, what are you going to do when you hit this key level? Oh my God, you're going to confirm it with what? A swing formation. You see the same thing we just did on the daily time frame? What are you going to do? Mark out EQ of this. Do the same thing. Like literally, right? It's the whole thing is like mechanical. The whole process is literally mechanical, right? And this is what I talk about, right? When you actually hit the key level, so this is our refined key level, the hourly fair value gap, or the 4-hour fair value gap, whatever. When you actually hit that key level, you're going to get a swing formation. And that is your invalidation to this 1 hour key level, right? Which is basically the invalidation to form the low of day. So we go from the EQ, right, as your invalidation level. Oh my God, dude. And then we drop down to the 1 hour or the 4 hour for your refined invalidation level. And when we hit this key level, it's going to be confirmed with a swing formation. That's your new refined invalidation level. Because in order for this to reverse here, obviously we have to respect this candle's range. So obviously this is your new invalidation level. When you expand away from that swing formation, this is what I talk about in my YouTube video. That expansion away from the low of day creates new invalidation levels, like key levels. And you do the same thing. We hit this key level. What do? Swing formation. That becomes your new invalidation level because that swing formation is where price reverses from, right? So that's really the whole top down, right? And all you're gonna ask yourself is when you hit these key levels on the daily, if it's the daily key level, you just want to see if the weekly profile supports the idea, right? Do we have a large wick on the weekly time frame? If we do, probably can't expect much expansion that week. It probably happen the next week, right? If it does, then we can expect continued expansion all the way to our draw liquidity, right? And each day within that weekly candle, you would expect expansion candles, right? So each of these profiles, you want to be bullish profile to confirm that. You know what I'm saying? So for example, like, again, you can have models inside of models. So you want to buy away from, you basically want price to reject lows in a bullish expansion. Reject lows, what would this be? Order pairing ranges, right? Manipulation of the range low into the high on your way to this drawn liquidity, right? Or internal to external, which is my favorite, right? Open low, you want the day to open low to support that internal to external move on your way to this draw. You get what I mean? So it's very simple, right? It's key level, right? Then it's candle closure. Then it's profile to support that idea. And then you can add SMTs and whatnot. That's really it, guys. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's really it. It's really not that hard, not that complicated, I promise you. Difference between strength switch and manipulation. Strength switch is just a trigger for asset synchronization. That's it. And assets to move in tandem, essentially. Because when you have let's say a SMT, it's like a form of decoupling, especially in like advanced premium discount sequences. So you actually obviously want to confirm that decoupling and whatnot. And when you don't get it, typically it's just a failure of a SMT. What collector concepts you use? That's it. SSMT and PSP. You could say that advanced premium discount maybe came from QT as well. But I really learned from so I didn't watch Day. I watched a little bit of Jacob Speculates, but he doesn't really teach it too in depth at all. Like really at all. Same thing with asset synchronization. He has like a 2-minute video on it. I had to learn this shit by myself, really. Like strength switching is something I came up with that I literally named it strength switching. It's just something I kept recognizing between SMTs. We'll try to speed up here. What type of SMT and which timeframes do you require for target time frame ERL, IRL? So think about it like this. We'll go to this here. All right, so think about it like this. There's a couple ways you can do it. Like you're gonna have your first stage SMT like this on the higher time frame, and you want to either confirm it with a higher time frame candle closure or a higher time frame swing point. So if this is like a daily high, for example, then ideally you want like a higher time frame PSP or higher time frame, candle closure, or sorry, that is a PSP, sorry. So a higher time frame PSP or like a higher time frame swing point like this, right? But if you're gonna trade the reverse, if it's actually gonna be a reversal candle like this, it can be like a 4-hour swing, right? Because it's kind of what we do when we use GXT, right? We do this. For example, you have like a higher time from fair value gap, which is like the 4-hour, and you can confirm it with like a 1-hour swing. So you just do that, like that's the alignment. So basically daily it's a 4-hour swing. Now on the closure of the day, Like that can be your daily PSP. But if you look here, here's your first stage SMT. And then here's your 4-hour swing SMT like this, which is your strength switch. So notice how the high of day here is 6 a.m. If I go in silver, the high of day is 2200. So this is strength switching, guys. Right? And it's also a 2-stage PSP. I actually traded this as well. So if you look here, what do you have here? 2 o'clock is bullish. 2 o'clock over here is bearish. Right, there's your strength switch. That's kind of the alignment I would use, right? For like if you're gonna form the low of day from a 4-hour key level, you would just use, you know, an hourly swings. This is what I traded here. We can't really do that with Friday's PA because it's cooked. I can't see anything. But this is all I did. I traded what? Did I trade this? Yeah, I traded this. So. This is all I really did. I think I already went over this though. But I'm just using, I don't know if there's a swing formation from the low of day. I can't really see. All I'm doing is just trading continuation from the previous 4-hour range, right? You see it comes lower, that's fine. Like kind of, you could say disrespects, but if you can actually see, this high is not being framed for anything. Like we didn't hit anything from the left to reverse from. We didn't manipulate this high. So again, this is where I talk about it's typically going to create a new high here if those two things are occurring there. You have SMT in the gap. So the only reason why we're creating this large wick is because it's the weakest asset here. This is a PSP. And that forms a low up to 10 a.m. candle. So really all I'm trading is 10 a.m. open, low, high close. The low forms very early on in the candle's lifespan. As you see, the manipulation of the candle forms the first 30 minutes of the candle. So it can definitely have enough time to get up here, right? And that's what I did. So that's really all I use. I didn't really use daily. There's no daily going on here, really. It's kind of just, we're not in a swing formation. Like I said, I don't have to be in a swing formation to really trade. I do believe there's SMT down here, though. Yeah. So you guys see how there's SMT here? Right. This is what I mean by like using relevant swings. This is very useful, honestly. So you see this SMT here? It's like if we're gonna actually reverse from here and reach this high, for example. So if this is gonna be the manipulation to reach this high, what do you need to what do you need to get through first, basically? You need to get through this high. So what do you want to see when you get this high? You want to see it fail to manipulate. So as you can see, it tried to do it here. It has a closure here, right? But if it fails to continue lower like this, then what is that? That's just a fail to manipulate, which means you're likely to get this high. Another thing you can look at is like how the other assets looked when it reached this high. Like, did they manipulate it, right? So let's look at it. Let's look at silver. Okay, you see this SMT here? This is what I mean, where you're gonna have opposing SMTs all the time, like every single time. You see how there's an SMT here and here, right? But that's just because gold reached the high first. It doesn't mean it's gonna reverse necessarily, right? This is where we're gonna use like, you know, profiling and all that, right? We can look at Euro and stuff like that. Euro, it could look like a manipulation, but again, this is where we're gonna set in validation level. Let's look inside of this PA. Does it look like a true reversal on gold and whatnot? Not yet. Definitely not yet. Oh yeah, it definitely does not, right? Look, we had SMT that got created very early on. So it got created like right here on Monday, 1600. We could just mark out this high, but do you guys see this? This is like looks like consolidation, right? Not a very clean reversal signature. We would want to see this trade into the high and then immediately displace away. This is clearly consolidation, right? So that is not a reversal signature, and therefore you would expect this to likely break, right? I'm recording, actually. You're all good. Which are thought process behind waiting for 10 a.m. bursts? It's very simple, honestly. It's like when you're expecting a 10 a.m. reversal, ask yourself, does the current 90-minute candle support basically reversal, right? For example, if you look here, maybe you could be expecting a 10 a.m. reversal. This is something I actually trade on NQ. No, I didn't trade this on NQ. I traded, for example, this day I traded NQ. Right? So why can I suspect this to be continuation? Well, we didn't manipulate anything to left, right? We didn't manipulate anything to left. And you see this point of retracement? There's no SMT here, right? So if there's no SMT here, probably is just a retracement, right? Not a reversal. Also, the current day is an expansion candle. For price to get way up here, do you see how far we distributed away from the low of day, or from the high of day? It's very unlikely we're gonna get all the way up here. That's really far away. That would create a massive wick. It's not like you do that, right? So this can be a simple, just phase of price via sessions, right? So you have Asia, you see these two candles are Asia session, right? Asia session basically just expands, and then London session puts in some type of reversal, you could say. And then we have early New York retraces, and then we're just continuing in the second half of New York, which is 10 a.m. But we would have to basically reverse off of this candle's high, because what do you have here? 6 a.m. does not reverse from this fair value gap, so 10 a.m. has to do it. Simple if-then logic, right? So there's no SMT here with this type of, what do you call it? With this gap here. Or sorry, with the 6 a.m. high. There is with this gap here, 2200. So you do have an SMT. But it's like, what is price waiting for, basically? Is that new 90-minute open, because as you can see, when 10 a.m. opens, basically, the 9 a.m. candle does not support reversal, as you see. So it's typically going to reverse at 10:30. And anyways, what do you have to confirm, basically, the high of 10 a.m. candle with? A 30-minute closure. You know, that's the earliest you confirm it, or an hourly closure. So either way, you're waiting for 10:30 regardless. Sorry, you're waiting for 10:30 regardless anyway. So that's why it lines up so perfectly. And here, as you can see, this is where you get like sequential SMT with this high, as you can see. And I actually traded this, right? So, okay, boom, we're in a key level. We have the SMT. Now what do we need? We have the closure, obviously, too. It's right here, 30-minute closure. So basically, it's a two-stage PSP, is what you're seeing right here. I'll show you. You'll see that. There's two-stage PSP. So again, pretty simple stuff. The profile supports it. Why? Because the daily is already lined bearish. We have an open draw. There's no SMT down here. That kind of adds onto it. We didn't manipulate anything to the left. We have the key level, which is a 4-hour gap. So now this is just a 4-hour internal to external model. So the profile supports it. You have a candle closure. You have a crack and correlation. Now you just need the confirmation, which is a reversal signature. So when I go to lower time frame, what do we have? That's the SMT between the candlesticks and this displacement. You'll see this displacement. That's the reverse signature, right? So you could have gotten the first entry there if you wanted to, or you could wait for a gap to be hit. This is what I did, and then the CSD from that. So this is why I traded personally. Something like this, right into the low. I don't remember my exact fill, but you don't really need anything else. That's 3R. You don't need to hold for anything else other than that. That's fine. So as you can see, price gets there. And that's a really good trade. The 10 a.m. It's not really a 10 a.m. reversal technically, but it's a 10 a.m. reversal candle. That's just because the high of day is not formed at 10 a.m. So it's not really a 10 a.m. reversal, but 10 a.m. reversal candle. I don't even know what I was answering. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh yeah, how to use. Yeah. Also, you're gonna see a lot of times the decoupling, especially on indices, it's gonna happen at 9:30. So, meaning the 6 a.m. candle is gonna displace in opposite directions, and the trigger for basically decoupling to end or resync the market is like some type of manipulation. And so this typically results in a 4-hour PSP formation at 6 a.m. where this asset will close bullish, this size will close bearish because they're expanding opposite directions, right? So they're going to close in opposite direction expansion candles. This is where you're going to see that 10 o'clock will resync the market, but most specifically 10:30 or 12, right? Those are specifically when this is typically going to happen. 12 o'clock is very useful as well. I forgot when I used this last. I think it was like, I'm trying to find, oh yeah, here. Here's a pretty good one. So yeah, this is that Monday. Yep. So you can see that we hit some type of low here. We're just coming off expansion. So typically this is where you're going to see Monday is usually going to be one-sided. This is where the previous week expanded, right? So even if we want to continue from the previous week's range, which is right here, we would open high first, right? If we're going to continue bearish, typically a bearish week is going to open high first. Any bearish candle. So when Friday manipulates, you would expect Monday to do that exactly, right? Open high first. So this is where your Monday is a very one-sided narrative. So in this case here, you can see we have a PSP as well. Go to YM. Yep, YM, PSP. So when I go to the 4-hour range, you're going to see that there's actually a gap here. I'll see this this gap here. Look at YM does. YM trades into the range low, and this is advanced premium discount, guys. We can use it within daily ranges. Because what is the current low of the day? And the current high of day range? It's this. And YM just basically manipulate the current low of the day. Right, so there's actually advanced premium discount just via the current daily range right here. And if I remember, what do we have here? Got PSP, like a strength switch PSP, if I'm not mistaken, right? We have a bearish close here and a bullish. Yeah. So y'all see this. This is a strength switch, an astro synchronization, right? Right here. So I don't remember what I traded exactly, but what is this opening up into? 12 o'clock. This is like perfect, bro. The next candle is 12 o'clock. Like literally 12 o'clock. So that's perfect, right? And this is what I traded into this high, basically. So you basically have the end of Q3. Q3 is viewed as manipulation here, right? Because it creates the SMT. So Q4 should be distribution. Pretty much as simple as that, right? And yeah. What do we get here, guys? Our little sequence. V-shaped signature, gaps. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's amazing. As simple as that, right? Mechanical from the top down. Quite literally. I remember I traded this though. I remember I didn't TP here because the 4-hour wick. Yeah, I remember that actually. This wick was very large, right? But if you want to fade this is actually a good lesson too. If you want to fade the 10 AM wick, for example, typically when you want to fade a wick in general, you want it to be like I said, creating a reversal. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, like this needs to be the low of the wick. Basically, you need to know that's going to form a reversal candle. And timing it with the 6 AM new open is really nice. Or the 10:30, like, you know what I'm saying? But these new opens are really nice, honestly. You're going to see down here, like, what forms the low here. Like, when did we truly reverse? 12 AM. Or 12 PM, sorry. Look at this reversal day here. 12 PM. I don't know if there's any sequential SMT down there. Yeah, there's not, but that's just it's a very interesting time window, honestly. There's really not much there. That's probably why I didn't trade it. Not much of any reversal. Yeah, I'm not really seeing too much. Yeah, there's like no cracking correlation in this whole leg. So I just wouldn't trade it. I'd miss it. Sorry for me to decide whether to enter on the CST or a proportion block. So like a good thing to go about it is if you're framing the low of day or high of day. So basically you're going to try to catch the high of day, which is the, what you call it? What's it called? God damn it. The, can't talk, bro. The protraction phase of the daily candle, right? So basically the open low. If you're going to try to catch that, it's a little bit riskier, obviously. So you can just wait for a closure and basically like fractal model rules where you just take the propulsion block because it's a little bit safer. But when you have like continuation, where the low of day is already confirmed, right? Then you can just trade the first CSD. You have SMT here, blah, blah, blah. Just take the first CSD. It's a lot more safe. This is why I created this YouTube video. Like, guys, if you guys stuck to this, dude, you don't have to worry about this reversal down here. You don't have to anticipate anything. Like, what are you anticipating here? The reversal already happened. You're just trading continuation here, right? And once you have SMT, like, dude, it's literally the most high probable sequence there is, honestly. Cause there's no guesswork at all, like at all. This is so much more safer than it trying to catch the low of day. I'm telling you, if y'all just stuck to this, like y'all be good, bro. You see, most of my trades are actually like that, exactly. You don't need to buy any course. You don't need to pay me nothing, dude. Like you don't have to join nothing. You could just do that. I promise you, you'd be fine. And there's plenty of opportunities like that too. There really is. There's plenty of opportunities. You'll be good. When to use consecutive candles between 3 candles. Oh, this is a 2-stage SMT you're talking about. So something like this. Find it somewhere here. Talking about this. It's just when it happens, right? It's not necessarily something you have to demand or something like that. Like this could be an SMT here and a PSP, and you wouldn't need it necessarily, right? But let's say we have this SMT here. There's no reversal inside of here or whatever. Then yeah, you would probably want to see another SMT, right? That just goes for any like 2-stage SMT, where it's like if price like hits a high, for example. Let's say create an SMT here. We start to move away, but this doesn't really look like a reversal. I just want it to reshoot the high like that. I have like a couple examples of this actually. This is a trade I took last Friday or something. Where was it? Let me find it. It was here. Pretty sure it's here. Yeah, okay. So at one point, we had SMT at this key level, this fair value gap. So there's your key level SMT. When you look inside of here, do you guys see how the SMT, the swing point that gets created? There's no true reversal here. So you need it to resweep the high if this is ever going to reverse. You need to resweep the high, which is ideal that it forms a strength switch where the other asset does not sweep this high, which is exactly what we get. So you get it right here. You know what I'm saying? So this is basically the same thing. Like this is that what I just showed you is basically the same shit, but just between consecutive candles, really. And yeah, this is what I traded. It just chopped around like crazy this day, bro. I took it right here and I put my stop loss here. It got really close to my stop loss, but it was a decent trade, right? It ran like decently. I only got like 1 hour out of it though. I got edged like crazy, dude. This shit came like 2.5 R. My trade was 2.8. Like what? And just reverse off of nothing. Like literally came back again. Like what are we doing, bro? This day was miserable. But yeah, that's just an example there. I'll try to find another one. Cause I know where it's at. Just don't know what day it is. Like, where was it, bro? If I can remember this, I'm insane. Hold on, dude. Yeah, if I remember this. Oh my god, it's right here. It's right here. All right, look at this. All right, so this day opens high first. Here's the daily open. You see how it's opening high first? Like the low of day is just a bunch of low resistance liquidity. So first off, the high of day is formed from a PSP before the driver. This is where I took positional entry because I'm assuming the high of day is put in. And this is where we displace to these lows. Right? Then we create a fair value gap here. You guys see in a minute. So we create this fair value gap here. So here's your first stage SMT, like this. This is a good example of advanced premium discount, by the way. And this is where YM took out these highs. This is really clean. Where we have like these lows, for example. Like look at all these lows, and then we have like relevant highs. Like this is what I mean by relevant swings are really important, because if we're gonna get to these lows, like you have to manipulate these highs. Like that's the only thing to trade into. Like why would we go higher when we could just manipulate these highs and trade into these lows? So this happens at 10 o'clock, as you can see, right? You can already see a strength that's already happening, by the way, because of the close. Like look at this asset that's creating the higher high. So it's technically stronger. Look at the close though. You see the small body? When I go over here, larger body. You can already see it happening, really, but when I look here, this is the perfect opportunity for us to create that advanced premium discount. Why can you already anticipate this happening? Because look how close this next candle is opening near the previous candle's high. Like it can easily just do this, right? Whereas YM is opening like farther away from its high. You see how it's much farther away from this high. So it can easily do this, which would create that two-stage strength switch divergence, right? Which is the highest probable sequence for a reversal. And this is just advanced premium discount because the failure swing is being created around EQ of the range and it's in a gap. So this is perfect, but this is how you can also anticipate it, because look at this here. When you form this reversal, what is this asset doing? It's consolidating. Look at YM right now. You see this reversal signature? But NQ is not reversing. So you already know what's going to happen here. I remember watching this live too. You already know what's going to happen. It's going to take out the high because this is not reversing. So boom, you take out the high, and then you want to see that V-shaped signature. Look what happened. Look, it's just waiting for it. It's literally just waiting for it. So as soon as you got this little V-shape, and again, this is in continuation, so you can enter the first CST. You also get a gap here on the 3-minute. And this is where Trump tweeted and absolutely ruined my trade. It's actually so annoying because I entered this, I added on to this trade basically. So my first trade was here on the first CSD, and then I added onto it after this CSD. Dude, I was up hella, I'm not gonna lie. I was up so much money. I was just gonna TP here too. I wasn't gonna do anything crazy. And then Trump tweeted and then fucking railed me basically, like, oh my god. It's actually stupid. He tweeted and then it came up here and I just hit break even and then I went to my TP. So pretty tragic. This happened twice to me this week, by the way. I traded in a, yeah, I traded where? Thursday, I'm almost positive was like news or something. It was like FOMC press conference. Yeah, I traded this, bro. I don't know where exactly I traded this. Wait, did I trade it? This is FOMC press conference, no? I guess I'm tripping. Let me see, hold on. Let me see. What day was that, man? Wednesday. Oh, okay, it was Wednesday. Yeah, I traded this, bro. I was assuming maybe this could be the high of the week right here. Right, because we had the, this is always the draw for the week, is this gap here. And this looked like a good reversal, potentially. And then you have these internal highs here that got manipulated prior to the driver. And I think there's SMT there, no? Yeah, clearly. Some type of SMT there. And this is where I took this, dude. I took it right on the first CSD. I don't know where my stop loss was, or my entry. I don't know if I entered here or here. I don't remember, dude. I put my stop loss at like EQ of the wick or some shit like that. And it just whipped me out, bro. And then went my direction. It was actually so annoying. So I got edged like twice that week. It just be like that, though, you know? That's trading. Why is he timed out? What did he do? When using driver pairing after manipulation, when should we expect a pullback retracement on the 1 hour and 30-minute chart? So that has kind of nothing to do with drivers necessarily. That's just any time on the 1 hour and 30-minute. That's just when we hit like opposing highs, really. This goes for any time price expands, really. You hit like opposing highs, which is an objective, you can expect a retracement, right? something like that, right? Or just after expansion in general, really. But if this is my general rule, if like C2 or C3 expands like really high in the range, or just expands with a large range, I will be cautious in trading in C3 and C4. That's why I'd rather just see a new swing, honestly. For example, if it's like a 1 hour swing, I'll use like 15-minute gaps. I'll show you an example of that. I took on, where was it? Right here. So this is the break even I uploaded. So we have a higher time for draw liquidity here. Right, so we have a 4-hour gap to get to that draw. Pretty simple stuff. As you can see, higher time frame fair value gap there. We have a candle closure as well to form a low of day. We have SMT. I'm going to show you right here. I already went over this example. 930 reversal. Everything you really want to see, honestly. Like, you see how C2 expanded though? So when C2 expands like this, you can use like a 15-minute gap. Or if C3 expands, for example, you can use a 15-minute gap to form the low of C3. So you would expect this candle to do open, low, high, close. And to form, you know, what is going to form that low basically is like a 15-minute gap. You see this? This gap right here? This is the video I post on YouTube basically, right? Same model. So I want to see a SMT with this gap ideally. This is what we get. Perfect. So you see this previous 15-minute candle low did not get taken. Go on YM, it did get taken. You see that? It did get taken. So that's just a little bit of a SMT there with our gap. And all I need to see is really just the first CSD. I'm using a 15-minute, 1-minute alignment here. It's a little bit ugly and kind of chopped around for a little bit. And I did take a half-hour loss on this because I took it here. My stop loss, I forgot. I think I put it like right here or something. Right. Oh no, I got my fill. Yeah, I got my fill like I remember it was like in here or something. So it was only like 2R to the high, if I remember. When we closed above this propulsion block, I did not like this delivery, and I also didn't like this. So I go to like NQ over here. NQ was like creating equal lows right here. It was really bad, PA. So to me, it's like potentially NQ could actually reach these lows and you know, sweep out these lows. So if NQ did that, that means that YM could also go lower. So if YM is going to go lower, it's going to break this SMT that you're seeing here. So the PA was looking a little bad as well. So to me, this is just a kind of a sketchy trade. So I move my stop loss to this low. So I really lose like nothing on this trade, but it does hurt when this happens. So now my stop loss is here, like trim stop loss. It's like basically break even because I didn't really lose that much money, but we will make a stop loss there, and then it goes my way. You know, it just so happened that what do you call it? That NQ just reversed off of nothing. Like I don't know why, but if you look at NQ, we just left these lows, right? It's really hard to anticipate. Just whatever reason, just wanted to come down there. Really bad profile, but yeah, that would be an example there. On when to expect a pullback, right? Because we're hitting highs, as you can see. Right, so I'd rather see a new swing, honestly, which is the 15-minute swing, by the way. Like, I just want to see a swing on the 15-minute or above, like basically price hitting something more relevant. Because I don't like to long the high and low of the day. You guys know that, if you're on the lens especially, but I don't really like to long the high and low of the day. It's not my thing. I'd rather just enter from a new swing. Dude, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know how to upload subtitles, dude. I looked at it and it was just like, I thought I did it, but wait, no, I actually can. I don't know how to edit my old videos to turn subtitles on, but I know how to do it. When I upload a new video, I know how to do it now. You gotta remember, dude, oh, come on, I don't know how to do this. How much time are we at, boys and girls? An hour 30? An hour 20? It's not that bad. Can you explain your GXT swing trades? Or is that already? I haven't talked about it. Yeah, you just need higher time frame framework. Let's go into it. So higher time framework is nothing more than a universal model. So if you look here, like this is where Monday again is like one-sided because of what the previous week did. Right? It doesn't matter about the previous week close necessarily. It's just what it did. So you can see that here's the current range basically. Here's the previous week's range. What did it do? We expanded away from, you know, whatever this was. It retraced. We see Friday reversed. So again, this Monday would be also easy to trade because we already reversed Friday, it looks like, from this range. So Monday should just continue, right? And then we trade into this high, which you don't really manipulate either. There's nothing to the left we manipulated. So if you don't manipulate this range, it's like typically you're gonna make a new high. If you don't manipulate the range high. You don't really, if this high wasn't, you know, trading anything to the left, usually you're gonna hold this range, okay? So I see that this previous week just expanded and then retraced and then put in some type of reversal here, as you can see. And when you go to I forgot if it's JPY futures or something, there's like actually SMT with this low, or maybe DXY or something. There's SMT with this relevant low. Notice how this is a relevant low. Look at the space between these lows. So these two, this is a fair swing to this low. So this is the relevant level, and there's nothing in close proximity to this low. So when you actually trade into relevant lows, that's where you want price to actually manipulate, right? So if Monday prints a reversal, it's like GXT. What is this new weekly candle? This higher time frame candle opening up within an aligned swing formation. So it's weekly to daily. So if the week opens up within a basically where Friday manipulates, then Monday should expand, right? What do we have up here? Equal highs. So now I dropped lower time frame. I want to see that reversal signature. What do we get? Clear V-shaped signature. We have the, you could say the original consolidation up here, whatnot, which is just a price leaving consolidation, so a higher time frame retracement. And yeah, we're pretty much opening up within the fair value gap. There's really no reason to go much lower than this. So now you just kind of confirm the low of the candle with like a 1 hour CSD, 30-minute CSD, something like that. It's up to you. But yeah, clearly we can expect a Asia low of day here because you're just opening up within the gap. Again, there's no reason to go lower, right? We don't want to reach this gap. Because why? Because when we mark out EQ of the wick, that would just be a large wick, right? That would create too large of a wick. We don't really need to go all the way down here. That would create a very large wick, which doesn't really support expansion, right? Especially, you wouldn't expect a deep retracement either because we didn't even hit anything, right? So if you don't hit anything, you expect expansion all the way into the objective, right? You never want to see this happen where you like leave equal highs and create a deep retracement. You want to see shallow retracements into this high, basically. That's another reason. But yeah, it's pretty simple. It was pretty sluggish for a little bit there, but we got there. And that was just a trade that I took about 2R or whatnot. I took it somewhere around like, I forgot where. So I think it was like right here maybe, or something like that. It was something like this. I don't really remember, but it was something like that, right? Boom. And like, why do I need to confirm anything? Why do I need to go to lower time frame when my RR is already 3.2? Guys, 3R is like really good. You don't really need much more than that. If you can average like 3R and like 50% win rate, you're gonna make a lot of money. A lot of money. And that's it, man. It's just simplifying it by using higher time frame key levels, higher time frame closures, confirming the higher time frame, basically just confirming the higher time frame candle 3 and 4 with a a CSD. It's really simple. I'll show you another trade that I took. It was like, where was it, man? It was like NZD CAD, bro? Maybe? No, it was not this. Was it this? I don't even remember, man. Was it OddCAD? I feel like I deleted the pair or something. NZD CAD. I thought it was Odd NZD. Where is that at? Oh, here it is. Yeah, it was this. It was like this week, I think. I'll start this gap here. So again, just using the previous closes, right? What could this be? We're coming off of some type of expansion in the weekly time frame. We have a pre-squeeze close. All right, cool. What is this week opening into? Let's see. So I can just basically expect continuation to this gap. That can be our universal model. You always need a universal model if you're going to swing trade, in my opinion. You got to know where price is going, right? So if you look here, we have our drawn liquidity. Can we continue from the pre-stage range? That's what we're going to ask yourself. So the answer is yes. Like, do we have basically a refined key level? The answer is yes. We have a 4-hour high. Like the day or the week is opening up within this 4-hour high. There's really no reason to go higher within this leg here. So it's ideal that the day just opens high and then manipulates this high here to continue lower, to create a protected swing, right? This is a relevant swing because the space between these highs, right? You could say this is the next relevant swing. So you want it to be manipulated, right? To continue lower. So this is where we just use GXT here. We're confirming the high this day from a refined key level and from a 4-hour closure. So when you can drop down to lower time frame, this is where we can use, whatever to form the high and low of the day. I pretty much just used, I forgot, it was like a 30-minute or something. Hourly C, it was something like this, somewhere around here, basically. But boom, like it can just be this simple, like literally. Where you can put your stop loss at this high, short-term high. So you have your short-term high, long-term high, or intermediate term high, or whatever you want to call it. The reason why you put it here, guys, is because the same logic. It's like you don't want to see deep retracements after reversal. So if I mark out this, we don't want to see OTE being hit. You never want to see that, dude. It's like the worst concept of all time, in my opinion. OT is a really bad concept, especially in continuation. Once it hits a draw liquidity, sure, like maybe, but you don't want to see in continuation. That's not something you want to see. Also, we can logically say that the previous candle reversed, right? So I can mark out EQ of this wick. Okay, what formed the high of this 4-hour wick right here? It's this high that I'm putting my stop loss on. So it's like you don't need to put up here. It's not logical. So again, I don't need any other type of lower time frame confirmation. Literally my R is already 4.4R. You don't need much else, man. And it kind of plays out the next day, hits this level here. Yeah, it kind of takes 2 days to hit, but you can see here, what do we have? 4-hour level here, which the day is opening into. You can expect the high day to actually form here. You could scale in here, honestly. Like the day should open high into this level. Again, it shouldn't be retracing any higher than this fair value gap because we haven't hit the objective. That would just be like chop. That would be like consolidation. So as you can see, the high of day is again formed from a swing formation. And you expect the next candles to distribute into your draw. So that's just a clean example there. Now you're not gonna get clean price action every week, every day on Forex. So you want to be really selective. So this is why I think it's important to have like multiple, charts you can watch and whatnot. And just pick the cleanest asset for that given week. This is a really clean example here. So there's actually SMT up here. If I show you DXY. See how DXY takes these highs? Okay. And then we have price clearly showing that this is a reversal. Why? Because it's expanding away. That's all a reversal is, guys. It's expansion away. That's why I have my YouTube video to wait for a gap, right? So this confirms a higher time frame basic reversal is when we actually have this displacement away from this SMT. So where do you basically trade into? The opposing low, right? What about this? Can you trade this reversal candle here? Yes. Why? Because it has a small wick. Want to go lower time frame? This is nothing more than a relevant high on a lower time frame. So it's the same thing, right? You want to basically manipulate this high, right? To go lower. So this would be a good trade here. What can you take? Like this hourly CST. Now, for me, I probably wouldn't be awake at this time. The way I'm going to trade Forex is I'm going to be trading like London, or it's not London, Asia session, because I'm awake at that time. And I'm just going to be taking positional entries, basically. So I basically need higher timber closures, honestly. To take a positional entry, you need that to happen. Or you need that, so that's why I have to trade Asia, so. And I would definitely miss that. You require 6 hour small wick candle, or yeah, like if you want a better time reversals, it's best to have that aligned ideally. Now again though, it's like you can anticipate reversal candles to form when it actually hits something relevant. So like for example, like you can anticipate a 6 hour like large wick to form when like it's formed the lower high of the day, for example. Like here, like this wick. If the low of this wick is SMT or something, then you can expect it to like form that reversal, right? But when that likely happen is when you get a new 90-minute open. You see this 90-minute open? So like if this previous wick here, or sorry, if the previous 90-minute candle, whatever, reverses, for example, then you can expect it to obviously close a reversal candle in the 6 hour, right? So as you can see, look at YM over here, or sorry, ES clearly has this like 9 AM reversal candle, right? So clearly you can expect that the next 90-minute candle would basically form the body of that reversal candle, pretty much, right? If that makes sense. I think I traded this, no? What did I trade this on? Did I trade this, bro? Oh, I did trade this, yeah. Just on YM. Right here. I feel like everyone traded this. Like, this is so easy. This day was so easy, dude. This high. This day was so fire. There's like SMT right here, right? Or something. I don't remember. But this is really clean. I know this is a 4-hour PSP or something. Yeah, there's a 4-hour PSP. Yeah, I remember that. That was a clean day. I'm probably super behind right now. Dude, is this 9:22 a.m.? My time? No way. And am I literally an hour behind? That's insane. Would you be trading post CPI or CPI and C press? Oh, absolutely, yeah. They're definitely drivers. It's basically just wait for them to like I will trade this the day before those events, but I won't trade typically the session before, especially in a PCPI. FOMC, like you can trade an AM session. Let me catch up, dude. I think I'm like really, really far back. We're gonna use 4-hour or GXT. Also, yeah, you trade the same, literally the same. I will say though, it's kind of weird with DXY because the 4-hour opens at a different time, so you can't use like PSPs in the 4-hour. You can't do it because this opens at 3 AM, right? And these open up at like 5 AM, for example. So you can't do it like that. You have to use like 1-hour only PSPs and daily PSPs, 30-minute PSPs. Because obviously those open at the same time, but not 4-hour candles, you can't do it. Also can't use like 6-hour, I don't think at least. Yeah, you can't. 6-hour 90, 4-hour, you can do it. What's your opinion on Jacob Speculates? A good mentor. I learned some things from him. A lot of the basically all of quarterly theory that I use, I learned from him. So like PSP, two-stage PSP, like viewing quarters through candles like this, 90-minute, 6-hour daily, weekly. I learned that from him. And then that's pretty much it. Like the word action synchronization, like gets thrown around and stuff by just in quarterly theory in general, but it's not taught the way I teach it. Promise you. Either it's like advanced pre-discount really. Like I know Jacob teaches like this. He wants it to be, I don't know why, but he wants the fair string to be in OTE basically. I don't like that. So I don't use it like that. I like it to be in premium actually. But he says that's not a good thing to see. I'm like, not for me. I like to see it like that. So yeah, I learned some things from him though for sure. Can you check long on Friday? There was nothing, bro. There's nothing. I promise you. Like I couldn't tell you like what there is to trade there, honestly. I don't really see much of anything. Like half the day's PA is gone and there's just nothing I can really do here, right? Personally. Depending on what steps were key in scaling, you would say, let's say you started over with several accounts. What would be the steps process to having 20 across the board? So I would, okay. So I always say like your first account, I would say request the payout as soon as you can. Like don't try to build a buffer. Like I don't care, dude. Request as soon as you can. Seriously. And just use that money to buy more accounts. All right. And yeah, you just basically copy your accounts, right? And do the same shit over and over and over. Because I'm telling you, I've done it before, dude. Where like you try to build a buffer and you fucking blow it. Like that's the worst thing you could possibly have. Is you build a buffer, you spend all this money on the accounts, and you don't even make anything. When you could have withdrawn, but you're being greedy. Like just withdraw, dude. And as soon as you can, and use that money until you build, you scale. Yeah, basically you scale. And you don't need to make a lot of percent to make a lot of money. You just need to scale. That's really it. And at some point, then you can start to build a buffer and shit like that. You guys don't understand like these prop firm rules, man. They're not easy, bro. They're really meant for you to fail. Like seriously, like 3% drawdown, like trailing drawdown. Like, dude, just take your money. It is. They probably want you to build a buffer. I promise you. Most people cannot do that. Type of daily candle you avoid. Just like seek and destroy. For example, like let's say like opens high first. Let's say I'm bullish and it opens high first, right? Yeah, if we just do this basically. I don't want to do that. I want to like open low first. Now there is a specific profile. It's called delayed protraction, where it like opens high first, and then we create a new low of day like this, and then we reverse. Like this is fine. It's just specific and typically in continuation. So this is how it's gonna look usually. In continuation, as in like it does this, like the previous day expands, and the next day it opens high and it continues the expansion, and then we retrace. But this current low of day will be like a gap basically. It's just gonna create a new low of day like this, create a small wick, and then expand. But it just needs to form like really, like ideally earlier in the day, like relevant time, so there's enough time in the day to continue the expansion. Ideally, you want to see SMT here and stuff like that. But it's just not. It's not a profile that prints like every day or nothing like that. It's very specific, but yeah, you don't want like something like this, bro. Where, like it opens high, forms like high resistance to the high of day, then comes down here and then forms reversal. It's like you don't really want to see that, dude. Dude, I promise you, if you guys just did this, man, like just traded days that, like for example, you're bullish, like just open low first, and then print a gap, and then you trade the universal sequence, dude, you're gonna get a couple of trades a week. It's the easiest thing to trade in the world. Deadass, it's so easy. If y'all just did that, if you're patient enough, I promise you, like, instead of like trying to guess we're pressing reverse, you don't have to even guess. It's already confirmed. Everything already happened. You need to see. So it's super easy. Bro, how do you use 6 hour? I don't know if it's free. I don't think it's free. It might not be free, I'm not gonna lie. I have a subscription, so yeah. Is there a new trend? I don't know, bro. I think it might be. It looks correlated enough. I don't even trade Bitcoin, dude. But if you can see here, there's actually a weekly SMT, right? So you have your key level SMT, or I'm capping. Wait, no, we don't. No, we don't. What the fuck? Yeah, I guess we don't, but it trades this high. So... Oh, it doesn't. What the fuck? Oh, never mind. I'm tripping balls. We don't even trade this high. Never mind. I thought we did. Yeah, we don't have that. Never mind. I thought we had this SMT here, right, at the highs. And then like a strength switch or something. But we don't, so never mind. I'm lying. But yeah, they're typically pretty correlated, right? Like very correlated. So I would think, but I don't even trade this shit, so I don't even know, dude. I don't even know. When you get 217 assets, opposing in the range, hard to wait. Okay, so when you're actually trading a lagging asset, you only, so here's how the sequence goes, right? Let's draw it. Here's how you pick asset selection. Okay, so when the first SMT gets printed, right, you are always going to trade the strongest asset. So the one that actually prints the fair swing, this high. Like you want to trade this here to here. Now, when this actually reaches this high, then you want to look for a strength switch. If it didn't already happen, right? First, you want to study like how this is actually looking over here, because if it's just like consolidating or something, this SMT is probably gonna hold, right? It's probably gonna hold. But if it actually reverses like this, right? And if this fair swing is really high in the range, so remember, this is technically advanced pre-discount because now we're just filtering out fake SMT. So if it actually also reverses down here and it's forming the fair swing high in the range, probably not going to hold. So this actually adds onto the conviction that we will actually reach this high as well. But you want to see this asset over here, kind of rip to this high, ideally, to fail to manipulate it. And if it just continues like this and it has an open draw, you don't actually need a strength switch over here. You don't need it, because what we're going to have is both assets are going to be expanding. Oh my God, dude. You're going to have this asset expand to this high while this asset expands into this high, right? But it's key that you need this asset to actually have something to draw into, ideally. Or just like rips right through this high, okay? So but if it kind of just hits this high and you see this up here and whatnot, this is where strength switch can happen, where maybe this asset starts to retrace while this one prints some sort of a strength switch. This is when you want to trade this asset to this high, right? When you get the strength switch. My favorite thing to see is a strength switch SMT fill, where they both expand. So they're both creating gaps. So this tells you that the SMT at the lows is actually true. It's like a true reversal, right? It's a valid SMT, right? Shown by the fair value gap, the displacement away. And then when you get this asset trading to the gap while this asset does not, there's your strength switch. That's the best sequence right there, honestly. But that's when you trade this asset to break the SMT at the highs. So there you go. Correct. I would only typically use the first CSD and continuation. Yeah, it just makes sense. What the fuck? Any reason you don't fuck with fair value gaps, he's a retard. All right. I think inverse fair value gaps are actually a pretty good concept, actually. Because really all it is a reversal signature. You have expansion into a high, which is a fair value gap. You have expansion away, which is the inverse fair value gap. It's logical in my opinion. It's a good concept. I just think that people that trade, like most people that trade are just like, you know, like brain rot, basically. That's like the popular thing, you know. Good time to go break even. Yeah, like there's mechanical ways, so don't do it where you go break even at, never mind. Don't go break even when like something like this, bro. Like this is what you see on TikTok and all that. This is what I mean, IFG traders, like I don't know why they do this, but do they go break even like as soon as we hit like this internal high? It's pretty stupid. Don't do that, right? Where you're going break even at like literally 0.2 R. That's just telling you that, just like basically saying you have no confidence in your trade, like at all. That's what it's saying. Don't do that, but you can do this. Where like there's some mechanical ways. So let's say you're entering the first CSD, like this, right? If price like retests your position, and like actually your traces a decent amount, like creating a bulky opposing candle, and then closes through like this, it's like then you can go break even, or not break even, but you can move your stop loss like here, right? Because mechanically, like it shouldn't, again, theoretically, we don't want to see a deep retracement all the way back here, back into the reversal low. So you wouldn't ever want to see that. So you can actually trim your stop loss. I do this all the time. Or like trim my stop loss, but don't go break even until we go like 2R or something. Then you can go break even. There's many ways you can do it. You can also add on your position here. So like you can be in this position right here. You can actually add on to this position here. And then you can move this stop loss to here. So you're like adding on to your position without adding much risk onto it, because you're actually mitigating most of this position here. I do this sometimes, but you can also do that. That's another thing you do. That's like the mechanical way to do it though, without going break even like in 5 seconds. But still like somewhat early, to be honest. Which I think break even is like good. I think it's a good concept, especially when you're newer. Like, just because you're gonna enter stupid trades when you're newer. Like, and it's not bad to protect yourself. It's not bad to protect yourself and whatnot. So I don't think it's bad when you're newer, but I just think there needs to be a mechanical process to it if you're newer. Do you require SMTs for your trades, or is a PSP fine? Yeah, PSP is basically SMT. What's your win rate? Like 65%-ish. Depends, like, because I'd be taking, like, for prop firms and stuff, like, I have to trade every day, pretty much. So if you're trading every day, you're overexposing yourself. Now, if I had if I was selective with my trading, it'd be higher, probably. But that's me trading, like, stuff like this, for example. Like, my trade on gold, right? Trade on gold, this is not necessarily the highest probable trade of all time. It's just like a 30-minute move. Like, these little scalps are like 15-minute moves. They're just lower probability, right? Technically. So like stuff like that, if I'm adding everything in together, it's something like that probably. But yeah, it just depends on what type of trading or type of approach you have, right? If you're just trading with the daily, probably going to be pretty high. But you guys don't need a high win rate, bro. That's a complete fallacy, bro. I think RR is much more important, right? My RR is like 3.5 to like 4-ish, typically. So honestly, dude, if you had a 50% rate, you'd be chilling, dog. Promise you. That's what you guys should be aiming for at first. Then you can make refinements. You can make a ton of money, bro, with like 50% rate. Degen or gamble? What was this? Oh, this was like Friday. I don't know. So we just have SMT there. 2-stage. What time is this though? Before 9 o'clock. I mean, what did the 4-hour candle look like? I mean, look somewhat decent, I guess. Is this Friday? It's kind of, I can't see the PA, dude. So like, I don't even know. I don't even know the profile, dude. But typically, like, I would say, if this is, yeah, this definitely is. Typically, what's it called? Bank holiday lows and highs are like really good draw liquidity. So that was my potential draw liquidity, honestly. Like, I actually did want to see sells, like more ideally than because I don't really want to long this because I can't see the low of day. You know what I'm saying? Like this kind of looks ass to me. So I'd rather just a clear, you know, see me date. Oh, I can't talk. The data is back basically, and I could see like a clear reversal. I can't see a clear reversal of the lows. I don't know what's happening here. So if there was a clear reversal of the highs to trade lower, I probably would have traded it. But I just need to see 930 reverse price because again, this is like advanced pre-discount. Like look where the SMT failure swing is forming, super high in the range, right? So I just can't trust it, bro. Like see it? That's where that comes in. Like the draw liquidity is fire. Like I will admit, like it's pretty nice. Like, a bunch of lows, like bank holiday lows. But yeah, I just wanted to see like a 930. Can you go over GC trade on Friday? It's nothing much to it, but yeah. I think I already did, but. So again, I can't see the low of day here. Like it's pretty gross, but all I know is that this SMT at the highs is fake here. Right? We printed this SMT and we did not reverse at all. As you can see. We just blasted right through it. This is consolidation, and then now we're just blasting through these highs. We're not reversing here, right? And then we're not reversing here either. So like, look at this higher here. When we form this retracement, this reversal candle, it's reversing off nothing. It's not reversing off this high. It's not reversing anything to the left, as you can see. So typically, this range is likely going to create another high. So it's likely to create a new high. So it's likely to take out a high. So we actually hit this fair value gap and create SMT with it. See silver, there's SMT there. And then GBP, the bullish candle. Over here, it's bearish. Now you have a two-stage PSP. And this forms a low of 10 a.m. So, I mean, it's just a clear, just like a little, you know, 10 a.m. open low, high close into the previous 6-hour candle. Or 6 a.m. 4-hour candle. So all I'm targeting is the previous candle, if you think about it. That's it. So I go to lower time frame. Do we have a reversal signature? Yes. We have a displacement away with a gap. All right, cool. And we also have this SMT fill here with the GDP, I think. And that's all I take. Boom. My fill was like up here or something. It was like 3 point something R. Yeah, it was like right there or something. Yeah, it was a really good fill, good trade. Yeah, that's it. So my average R is about 3 point something. I don't know exactly. I gotta look, but I don't really be caring about stats, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really journal anymore. What is the reason you don't expect soups after CSD? No, we can soup. Like, we can do that. I just don't want to see, for example, like if you form a low here, I don't see price go all the way back down here. We can do like something like this. Like a soup there or something. You know, we can do that, sure. Confused gold. Which source do I use? Futures 1800. Oh, so you want to use forex.com, which is 1800 open, because then we can use, you know, PSPs with the 4-hour chart, right? And they have the same 6-hour and not even open and all that. It's important to do that actually. Otherwise, you're gonna have fake PSPs and shit. Okay, I need to catch up again, dude. When should we focus on building a buffer? Yeah, I think after a couple of payouts. I just think you could. I just think you should consistently pay yourself, dude. I think it's really important. Would you say the way yourself and fees trade very similar? Absolutely. Can you give top down of universals? I don't know what that means, honestly. Inverse triad trading? I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, that's only if you're like basically only a Forex trader, right? It's low-key confusing, but it's simply just like if I look at this, I think there's a recent example now with like a lower high. Let me try to find one for you. There's SMT there. So like this high, for example, it's basically just like when DXY takes the highs, like this high, it's basically Euro should take that low. It's confusing, but see that it takes the low. It's a little confusing, but it's the same thing, like literally the same thing. But yeah, I think that's the only like inverse, like what else was there to use besides DXY? I kind of forgot. Let's see if there's SMT here, for example. Like, so basically DXY would have to take the low, whatever low this is. See how it took the low? There's no SMT there. What about this low? Euro would have to take some high. Okay, it took the high. GBP did not take the high though. Just that. What should I do when assets are decoupled on intermediate time frame? So that's just like intraday. You just wait for assets to resync by. Basically, all it is, like decoupling is just assets expanding in opposite directions. So one asset expanding higher, other one expanding lower, and all you're waiting for is one of the assets to hit a high or low, which is gonna create SMT when you think about it, right? And that will resync the market. It's not an everyday thing, but definitely happens. And if you're new to it, I would probably just avoid it. When do you usually acquire a two-stage PSP, and when is single? That's a good question, actually. So this is when you do it. It's really, really simple. So all you're going to look for is so when bearish, how did the stronger asset close? Okay. So for example, if I'm bearish, then obviously the strongest asset would be a bullish PSP. If that PSP closes more like an expansion candle, typically this is where we form a two-stage PSP, because this candle here did not reverse. Obviously, right? It's closing a expansion candle. How can it be reversed when it closes an expansion candle? So this is where we would ideally want to see us create a reversal candle by sweeping out the PSP high, which creates the two-stage PSP like that. Pretty simple, right? Pretty much it. Now, when do you not anticipate it, or when do you not require it, I should say, is where we close the PSP on the strongest asset more as a reversal candle like this. Right? Since it actually reversed, you don't need to see a two-stage PSP. You don't need to see that, right? One stage is enough, pretty much. This is where you're either gonna have SMT here or not. It doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that we've already reversed from the SMT or the closure, pretty much. It's like really simple. I'll show you an example. I think it was pretty recently. It's like right here, right? Pretty sure, dude. YM, yeah, see how YM is a bullish expansion candle? So we're bullish, right? Because we're targeting this high. So we're gonna look at the weakest assets and notice how it closes. You see how it closes more of a reversal candle with a large wick? So you don't need to have a two-stage PSP. You don't need to resweep it. So it doesn't resweep it. Does that make sense? Pretty simple though. When move away from lens to start your own community? Oh, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna, like, how long I'm gonna be mentoring for. Calling dog, yeah. I don't know what my future is, dude. I don't know. We'll see. Who are your game-changing mentors? I'm gonna be honest, dude. So I learned a lot about like the foundation of trading from people. So like the MXM trader, like universal models, like that's pretty much as far as what I learned from him. Now, but you could say technically a lot of what he trades learned is from the MXM trader too, like swing formations. That's pretty much the MXM trader right there. But as far as like the Fractal model, that's all T trades. Like he put those things together and learned a lot of the things from himself, and that's what it's gonna be, dude. You're gonna learn a couple of things from a mentor, and then you're gonna put it together yourself. So that's a lot of what I did. Like I just spent so much time backtesting and whatnot, and just put it all together myself. But yeah, like pieces here and there from mentors. So AM trades, T trades, MXM trader, trader day, or Jacob. You could interchange them, but it's pretty much a trader day technically. And I just put it all together like very unique way. And now you see most people are trading this exact way. White monster, you're crazy, dude. Don't go near that guy right there. Oh, that's Rips. Yo, gotta watch out for them, dude. Use ADR. Nah, I just eyeball it, dude. Honestly. You'll get experience and you can like easily tell typically. Okay, if the strongest asset trades through a high, whereas the weakest have not, so that means there's an SMT, right? Or maybe they both traded to it. How do you trade to that same high on the weakest asset if you anticipate the SMT formed? Oh, okay. You're not waiting for a new phase of price, so there's new swing SMT filter. Yeah, you're always going to demand it, right? You're always going to demand a strength switch, basically, which is really just if you think about it, a strength switch is just a universal model, basically, right? It's something along these lines where it's like, okay, we trade into a high, for example, on this asset here, and over here, we haven't done it yet. So now you're just waiting for a strength switch, which will just be with like a low or something, right? Maybe like that, which is again a universal model, or a fair value gap, which is universal model. Because you always want to be trading from a swing, ideally. Like that's always what you want to be trading away from. And to anticipate a swing to be relevant, to actually reverse price, you need to be in a key level, pretty much. Like don't overcomplicate it. Like that's really it. You're just gonna use so to trade calculate futures risk. It's super easy. It's even easier than coming from Forex. You just go like this. You basically put on a position tool. So let's say I want to enter. Let's go over here or something. 5-minute chart, 3-minute chart. Let's say I want to enter from here. Let's say you want to put a limit order at this order block. Right? You put your position tool on it, and then you just right click it and create limit order. That's it. And then you put in the contracts, and it's going to tell you how much you're risking. It's really easy. There's a YouTube video on it probably. It's like super easy. What do you think about no wick theory? Like the price reverse in direction. Wait, what? Wait. Were you saying that price will come back and like create a wick, or price will actually trade away from a no wick? I think like no wick can be a draw liquidity, yeah. If that's what you're asking. I don't think price trades away from candles with no wick. I don't think so. I think it's a good draw. I don't think it's a theory. I just think it's a thing. It's like a real thing. even with this 1 minute delay, dude, I can't catch up, dude. It's because I spend way too much time on one question. Or can you show us how to trade a Forex pair? Because 4 hour is different between DXY. So yeah, it is different. So that just means you're not gonna use, the only thing is you're just not gonna use 4 hour PSPs between DXY. You can use 4 hour PSPs with the GU and EU though, like this, for example. You can use it like this because these are correlated. Just not with DXY. You're just gonna use SMT at like key levels and whatnot. For example, that's really it, dude. Like if I use where DXY at. Let's try to go to like a key level. Let's try to find something. Let's go to here maybe. I'm just trying to find like a 4 PSP or something. I don't think there's gonna be one here though, honestly. Oh, there is one here. Okay, this is a good day, actually. So you guys see this gap here? So this is a weird day, low-key, but you see how GU hits this gap at, or sorry, EU hits this gap at 8 o'clock, right? You're gonna see there's at one point there's SMT here actually. So you're gonna see that while EU is actually hitting this fair value gap at 8, GU already hit this fair value gap, which is right here, I think. Yeah, it's about right there. And it already reversed. So you're gonna see there's SMT here, but this is where phase of price coming, guys. Look, what does this look like? There's SMT here, and it just doesn't reverse. You see how it's not reversing? Right, so it's probably just gonna break, typically, right? That SMT. So this is kind of like, there's SMT, yeah, there's SMT here. So what do? We expand away from it. Then we consolidate. Then we have a gap, right? Which is SMT here. So it's just expansion, consolidation, manipulation, expansion, breaking the SMTs. It's a very weird PA for sure. But on this closure here, when we break this SMT, remember talking about SMT breaking? That can be a sequence for reversal. But simply all it is, guys, is a fair value gap. You can use PSPs between these assets, right? You see this candle here? It's bearish. What about GU? It's bullish. So this is where you do need a 2-stage PSP because it's an expansion candle. See on the weakest asset here? See, it's an expansion candle. So this is where you expect reversal since the previous candle didn't reverse. The next candle will. This is how you trade high probable C2 candles, which is a 2-stage PSP. So how to be traded with GXD? Confirm the low. Confirm the low with a candle closure. What are you gonna see here? What is this, guys? Who can answer that? What is this? Who knows? Look at it. Bam, bam. Yep, strength switch PSP, yep. So you got a strength switch PSP. So drops lower time frame. Technically the SMT is right there. What can we trade from? Ideally a gap or just any continuation, right? And here you're opening up this new candle. Oh yeah, you are opening up within a swing formation. This would be a positional entry right here. So you're opening up within a swing formation. So when I go to like the 30-minute time frame, and I mark out EQ this candle, it's like you would want this, you basically want this whole area to obviously be respected, but really it's from here. It's from right here, because that's the opening price of the candle. You want the low to form in this area, right? So when I go to lower time frame, it's like this order block is your refined key level, right? Look where the swing low is. You don't want that to get taken. So really, you could just enter here, assuming that the next candle's low will form in this order block's range, basically, right? That's called a positional entry. It's something you can definitely do. But that's a good example there. I wonder if there's any type of like strength switching here, maybe with this gap or something. I don't see any. Hold on. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. No, what about DXY? Yeah, nothing really. What, 15-minute maybe? The 15-minute gap. What's that? 1030. 1030. Yeah, no type of strength switch, I don't think. I don't think so. Yeah, we just have this 15-minute gap, but I would require a SMT with it ideally. We don't get it. But yeah, this would have been a good idea. This would be a good gap though to trade continuation from, because then you have equal highs here. You have a gap. If you form SMT with that gap, it's really high probable, like super high probable. Brother, yo, what is this paragraph? Oh my god. Please give an overview of your daily routine process. What do you do? I don't do anything. I just wake up and hop on the charts. Like, seriously. I swear to God, that's what I do. Now, did I do that when I was first starting? Yes, a little bit, right? A little bit better of a routine, but now that I just know exactly what I'm looking for, I just don't. It's not really necessarily, honestly. I pretty much just do. I literally wake up at like 9:20 and hop on the charts before 9:30. I'm not even joking, dude. I have zero routine. Seriously. I know it's not what you want to hear, but that's the truth. That is the absolute truth. But I used to backtest a ton. So on the weekends, I used to backtest a ton. Because it's really necessary, dude. If you're not spending your time like backtesting, I don't know what you're doing, dude. Like, how do you expect to get better? Like, I spent so much time to backtesting, and I didn't have I didn't really have a mentor, like a structured, like anything to follow, dude. You guys actually have that. You guys are lucky. What the? Let's see if I miss anything. I trade only NQ. When I try to trade YM based on asking or lagging assets, you fucked up. Yeah, you're probably a little bit too new for that or something. Now what could be easy though is you just trade like the strongest asset. Like, I did just describe how to do it typically, how you want to do it. How to trade a lagging asset or when to or whatnot. But simply just trade the asset when it creates SMT. Trade the asset that's creating the failure swing because that's the stronger one. If you really want to just do it like that. But you could just trade it NQ, but maybe it works for you. I don't know. Way better than Red Bull. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Same question. All right, so the reason why 2.0 was not like promoted, it's just because it's like internal. It's like just an internal thing. So if you're on the market lens, you only can get access to it really. It's basically just a, what do you call it? What do you call it, bro? Oh my God, I can't talk. High ticket mentorship, yeah, I guess. So like, we can see their TradeZilla. So like, everyone has a TradeZilla account. They get a free account, and there's a mentor mode. I don't know if you know what that is, but I can basically see into their accounts, essentially, and there's stages. So you have to complete tasks. It's basically like you're doing homework and shit. Just like you're doing all the right steps, basically, to become a profitable trader. We're like forcing you to do the right steps and shit like that. No, you don't. You don't. Can you come up here and give us a class on Forex? Guys, if you guys need help with Forex, Udron he helped me. He's my mentor, basically. So just personally DM him, and he'll accept you as a friend request. Yep, that's true. But anyways, guys, we're about at 2 hours here. Probably gonna wrap it up soon. But we'll do more of these. Maybe next time we can do like a back test or something. I don't know. So I already went over how to get bias pretty much. Just re-watch the stream. The stream. Yeah, I'm still live. I'm actually ending it pretty soon. A New York Cowboys fan. Hopefully not Longhorns. Actually, I don't actually watch college, so. I would probably be a Longhorns fan though if I watch college, so. Invite people to the stage. Oh God, I don't know how that would turn out. I'm not gonna lie. Cowboys are not trash. We just beat back-to-back Super Bowl teams, bro. Yo, if we beat the Lions, you can't say we're trash. Like, you actually can't. If we win 3 playoff teams in a row, I don't know, man. That offense is goated. I will upload this to YouTube. I'll unlist it, so it's not going to be like a public thing, but I'll post it in the announcements. Yeah, blue trays. That guy's crazy. You created a huge gap. Yeah, I know, but I can't get up to it all, unfortunately. When is it gonna be uploaded? Pretty soon. Right when I end this, probably. Yeah, guys. We'll probably do this again. Maybe we'll do a stream like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it weekly, but maybe we can. Maybe like twice a month or something. I don't know. But probably like every 1,000 members for sure. Like that's gonna be like a guaranteed stream. So I don't know how many members we're at right now. For the longest time, I had the link. It was expired, dude. So, but now it's good. So Aiden actually fixed that for me. It was expired for a really long time. Stream a week after each new video. Yeah, I could release a YouTube video, pretty sure. When should I release it, guys? What are we at here? When was I released it a week ago? We gotta at least wait another week, bro, for me to release another video. Let me see. Bro, y'all went crazy though. 8 days ago, 23K views, dude. That's insane. That's like low-key insane. We all want to do next week. Did you get your 50K from Apex? Bro, that count is at like almost 200% on my 50Ks. Do I have a picture of that shit? I don't. What is this? Oh, that's just the... I guess I don't. Universal reversals. Okay. I kind of already low-key have that, dude. Kind of already have that video, if you think about it. It's on T-Trade's YouTube channel. Advice for passing counts? Dude. Yeah, on T-Talks, yeah. That's what it was. But I can create it on my channel if you guys want. I guess I could just to have it all there. What else could we do? I could make a video on like phase of price, but again, that's on T-Trade's channel. Well, twice a month. Yeah, I think we can do 2 streams a month, bro. Probably. Advice for passing prop firms. So like, it depends on like, do you guys buy in bulk? If you don't buy in bulk, dude, Like, let's say you're broke, which I was broke at one point, where I could just buy one account. I did not full port. You don't want to full port that shit. Trade it like a normal account. But I try to pass it before the month because you don't want to get rebuild, dude. You don't get rebuild on that shit. Pass it for the month. So I would risk like 1% or something, which is not full porting. Your net worth? What the fuck? That's crazy. At least $5. Can you start listing off some traders at a cap? I have no idea, bro. I don't really care. Just focus on your own trading. Probably a lot, bro. Y'all hear that? That's my chair. I swear to God. It's not me shitting myself. What breed is your dog? So those are my parents' dogs. They're like mixed with pit bull. I don't know if you guys saw, they got some puppies too. They're getting big now. What's your take on GTA 6? I'm gonna play that shit. I'm definitely playing that. I think it comes out next year, bro. We need Joey puppy pics. Oh, dude, he was so cute. When's the last time you saw your dogs? Actually, this week because of Thanksgiving. Yeah, the puppies are getting big, dude. Like, holy shit. They might be bigger than, they're gonna be bigger than Joey, dude. Joey's pretty big. I think they're gonna get bigger than. What's your plate look like? I didn't take a picture of it. Trade setup. I have like a 32-inch monitor. It's nothing crazy, bro. I don't have a PC. I just use a laptop. So like the what is this thing, man? It's like the I don't know, 16-inch M4 Pro, whatever the fuck. It's a pretty good laptop. I like it. And then this monitor is really good too. Probably the best 32-inch you can get, honestly. Like one of the best, at least. How long does your battery last? It's never died, so I always have a charger plugged into it, so I don't really know. But it lasts a long time. But I'll probably hop up pretty soon. Oh, no, it's not curved. Dude, y'all know that monitor that I bought? That 52-inch monitor? Dude, I don't even use it. It's ass. Like, it's legit ass. And I just never returned it. It's just like there. It's in my closet. Anyone want it? Who wants it? Come pick it up. There's like, I know there's actually some people that live near me. Like seriously. I forgot who it was. Dude, shipping this thing is crazy. It's huge. Monitor giveaway? I would literally give it away. I'm not even joking. I'm not gonna use it unless I get like a PC or something, but yeah, like the resolution is cooked. It's so bad, bro. I have to get a PC or something. How to get access to the lives you made private? I don't have any lives that are private. I think TWX has all my other live streams. Yeah, GXT 20K sub. Giveaway closet monitor, dude. What's that? Riffs. I have something like that. A mini. What the fuck is a Mac Mini? Is that a PC? Basically? Oh, wow. That's funny. I don't think you guys would like this monitor. For trading, it's weird, but it's too big, dude. Should I go over today? Just a Q&A, honestly. Do you have a video on higher time frame? I actually don't. I can make that if you guys want, but I feel like it's just repetitive. Like, I feel like it's everywhere. Like, there's like thousands of videos on higher time frame narrative. It's all the same. Like, is it not? Like, it's just like higher time frame key level. You know, just a model, basically. A swing formation. That's it. Like, I don't know. Like, your videos hit different. How? Is it because they're longer or something? You guys like longer videos? I almost didn't upload that hourly. What is it? Hour 20 minutes. I was like, dude, this is way too long. I was like, I don't know if I should upload this, but y'all liked it, so. I don't waffle, dude. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I waffle the most. But I probably just talk. I do talk a lot, but it's mainly about the actual concept. It's not like, you know, ICT videos, like, he'll just like yab about fucking nothing. Like, literally. He'll just be like talking shit about like other. I don't even know, dude. It's just funny. I don't know. I don't even know, dude. No, I'm not looking for a good monitor. I have a good monitor. I just said I have a monitor that's useless. Not a monitor that I don't use. Yeah, I know. Dude, I say right a lot. Like every single sentence I say right. It's so bad. But yeah, I'll probably try to get that video up for you guys. Probably. I'm not gonna lie, probably not this week coming, probably next week. Probably. So. Am I explain my model in 1 minute? I mean, probably. We look for swing trades either at a continuation or after reversal. Yeah, usually. I mean, you can trade the first reversal, which is like the first hourly CSD. Basically, you're trading like a higher time reversal candle, but it has to be like a higher time key level. Every ITT gap session is valuable. Dude, I feel like so many people like have watched ICT, but then they transition to like something else, and then they're just like looking back at it as like a complete waste of time. Like AC, dude, this motherfucker, dude. AC used to watch every ICT video, bro. We can do a stream of a backtest. I was thinking of doing that next. AC, AC. I'm talking about how cooked you were with ICT, bro. Oh, now he trades QT. I'm pretty sure AC used to literally shit on QT as well. Am I wrong? Didn't you used to hate QT? I swear to God, bro. That's weird. That's most people, dude. They think it's like cringe or something, but I think it is to a certain extent. But yes, I will get 2 questions. What year did I become a profit trader? Probably like the end of 2022 or something. 2023 early or something. GXT plus 50, 200 EMA. That's insane. I don't use 15-minute CST, but that's more like the Fractal model. Yeah, no, I've been yapping for. Yo, you're banned. What the hell? But yeah, I'm probably gonna hop off, guys. I said that like 30 minutes ago. But here we are. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. I'll upload this in a bit. I'm probably gonna end it now. Let's see how long this is. 2 hours, 20 minutes. So I'll upload this later and catch you guys later. We'll do this again at some point. How many members do we have? 4,300. So when you get to like 5,000 members, we'll do it. Another stream. Probably like something like that. We'll do something like that. I don't know, dude. But yeah. Probably not every week, but yeah. Y'all have a good one. Catch y'all later.